Acts chapter 9 and verse 32 now. A paralytic, Aeneas, is healed at Lydda. As Peter traveled about the country, he went to visit the saints in Lydda. There he found a man named Aeneas. There he found a man named Aeneas, a paralytic, who had been bedridden for 8 years. Aeneas, Peter said to him, Jesus Christ heals you. Get up and take care of your mat. Immediately Aeneas got up. All those who lived in Lydda and Sharon saw him and turned to the Lord. So you see, the apostles get more power as they go along. They were preaching, they were healing, they were delivering people. So they meet this paralyzed man by the name of Aeneas, being paralyzed for 8 years, bedridden. They just spoke the word. Get up, pick up your mat and walk. And he did. So all those who lived in Lydda and Sharon saw him and turned to the Lord. When they saw that one miracle of that healing, they all came together to join the believers and the apostles, because that was a big miracle. Somebody being paralyzed for 8 years, just a word spoken and he got up, just like Jesus was doing. That was what happened. So in verse 36, Dorcas is restored to life by Peter. In Joppa, there was a disciple named Tabitha, which when translated is Dorcas, who was always doing good and helping the poor. And that time she became sick and died, and her body was washed and placed in an upstairs room. Lydda was near Joppa. So when the disciples heard that Peter was in Lydda, they sent 2 men to him and urged him, please come to at once. Peter went with them, and when he arrived, he was taken upstairs to the room. All the widows stood around him, crying, showing him the robes and other clothing that Dorcas had made while she was still with them. Peter sent them all out of the room. Then he got down on his knees and prayed, turning toward the dead woman. He said, Tabitha, get up. She opened her eyes, and seeing Peter, she sat up. He took her by the hand and helped her to her feet. Then he called the believers and the widows and presented her to them alive. This became known all over Joppa, and many people believed in the Lord. Peter stayed in Joppa for some time with a tanner named Simon. So you see, the word grew in the apostles and they were performing a lot of miracles. So Peter healed this paralytic man in Aeneas of Lydda. And then he went again to Joppa. He met this other lady called Tabitha, interpreted Dorcas. She was a philanthropist. She was doing good to people. And then she felt sick and died. And she was laid in an upper room. All the widows gathered around her and was crying. And when the people heard, they sent 2 men to go call Peter from Lydda to Joppa. And then he came to Joppa and they explained to him about this wonderful woman that has been doing good to people. She got sick and passed away, and her body is laid in an upper room. So Peter got in there and he asked all the people to go out. The widows complained to him. They see the robes we have on, the clothes we have on. It was her that was giving them to us. Please help us. So Peter asked everybody outside, knelt down and prayed to God. And after that prayer, he called a lady by the name Tabitha. And she opened her eyes. Peter sent all out of the room. Then he got down on his knees and prayed, turning toward the dead woman. And he said, Tabitha, get up. She opened her eyes, and seeing Peter, she sat up. He took her by the hand and helped her to her feet. Then he called the believers and the widows and presented her to them alive. What a wonderful God we serve. So you see the mighty hand of God working in these apostles. This woman passed away. Most of the miracles they are not doing is what Jesus was doing. This Jesus, these Jewish people don't want to hear about him. They don't want to believe, and they don't want other people. If you don't want to believe, leave others. Everybody has right to their opinion or to their thoughts or to their belief. But they were preventing other people too not to listen to these people because they said Jesus is not their Messiah. Moses is their Messiah. They accused Jesus of being blasphemous. So they accused the apostles too of being blasphemous. Look at Stephen, the way they killed him. They lied against him that he's been blasphemous against Moses and God. And that was a big lie. They only wanted to trap him to get a reason to accuse him and convict him. And this is what they were doing. So Peter stayed in Joppa for some time with a tanner named Simon. And that is the end of chapter 9. We continue in the next chapters and in the next videos. Thank you. Stay with us. Like, comment, share to your page so your followers too can be blessed